Ashley, what about the next thing? What would you say about just fundamentals in terms of nutrition itself? Key nutrients.
Right. So nurturing your body. Nurturing your body with water-soluble vitamins, as we started to talk a little bit about before, and then also fat-soluble vitamins. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, first, our fat-soluble vitamins. We have A, D, E, and K.
Yep.
E and E for your immune system. And we're going to also post this along with the video and attach it, basically telling you a little bit more about the depth of what types of foods apply to each of the different vitamins and minerals. And then selenium, and those are really, again, important for your immune system and for your body's ability to recover. So remember that canoe analogy we were talking about before. In order to transport these across cell walls, you really want to make sure you're hydrated. In order to get these foods, vitamins and minerals, you have to eat plants.
Yep.
Plants are super important, very important for your health in order to get all of these vitamins and minerals.
Yep.
So very important when we're talking about from the nutrition standpoint. And really right now, nutrition is your defense when it comes to being able to recover and heal, and also your best defense for your immune system for COVID-19.
Yep. And without going into the real nitty-gritty details on different diets, you've heard of keto a lot, right? That's kind of been in the news a lot lately, or within your own group, they've been talking about that. And the South Beach diet and low carb, high carb, all these different things are focused on macronutrient content. We're talking about here are the micronutrients, those fundamental cofactors and those vitamins and minerals to have the best possible health that we can. And it's also within our control. You know, it's the one thing that we have an actual decision to be made over every single day of our lives, and we're either getting better or we're sliding down based on the basic food decision. Ashley, I mean, every single day you're involved with clients who have the ability to make a decision to go on a higher trajectory in health or down lower.
Well, and what I always say is, you know, a lot of people say, well, oh gosh, you know, I just and whatever, the whole day is shot. You have the chance at the next meal, the next time you're at the table, the next time you're in front of a plate, picking a food that ultimately makes you feel good. Because right now, we're looking for those other things that are, you know, right, and trying to cope in with all the emotions that we're feeling. So we're using it as a coping mechanism, but really what we're trying to do is nourish our body in a way that gives us the energy, gives us the proper rest, helps us stay hydrated, you know, helps us de-stress overall, and really try to encompass all this together so that you can feel your best.
Yep. I always like to say too, nothing feels as good as living a healthy lifestyle. Nothing tastes as good as a healthy lifestyle, right? Yeah. Because it's like, hey, it's the birthday cake. It's right there. It's available. Let's celebrate. We've earned it. We've lived another year. But really, how are you going to feel and function as a result of that? And maybe there's a nice time and place where you can let loose a little.
Yeah, finding balance. Balance,
hugely
ultimately,
important.
for sure. Because you don't want to be too restrictive. And we're going into a whole nother topic here, which we could do a whole hour segment on. Yeah, behavior. Oh, for sure. But when you're looking at this overall, what we're really trying to focus on is your immune health. And if you can pick foods that you know help you feel your best, then those are the foods that are going to supply you with the nutrients. The plant-based foods, the peppers, you know, the raw broccoli, the celery, the carrots, the plants that come from nature, that come from the soil. A little plug for my husband, he's an agronomist. He does a little soil sampling, so making sure they've got the nutrient-dense soil that's also helping provide the nutrient-dense food to the body and nourish yourself.
Beautifully said, Ashley. No, and that's, again, one of the things that's interesting about vitamin D. Can we talk on that for a minute?
Oh, yes.
So vitamin D, I mean, it's not necessarily, we talk about vitamin D, it's not it's actually a hormone, right? It's not itself. And what it does is it gives production to sex hormones, which allows us to decrease our stress levels. In a natural setting, we get it from the sunlight, right? So about 20 minutes of sun to our torso and to our face, that adequate level. But what's funny from a macronutrient standpoint, vitamin D is actually stored in the fat cells. So that can render the actual vitamin D3. It renders it inert. Go to and do its natural immune fighting capacity within the body, and also increase that natural hormone production when you have excess body fat. We're not looking at from a you know, do you look situation, but it's actually better for your health. Decreases your cancer risk, your heart attack risk, and your cerebrovascular risk, which are the 3 most chronic diseases that we have to deal with.
Well, vitamin D in particular too, But in all your fat-soluble vitamins, like A, D, and K, before. I like the analogy of thinking a little bit about soap. Imagine, you know, you're in the kitchen and you've got a pan that has a ton of grease on it and you're trying to scrub that pan. Unless you apply some soap to it and get scrubbing, that emulsions and helps you eventually get the grease away, right? That's the analogy here. Now, the relationship between that and your body is your body produces bile. Bile then helps your body emulsify the fat-soluble vitamins when taking in fats like nuts and seeds and avocados and oils. And then the combination of those two together then allow your body to really take it in and utilize those nutrients. So think about that again, going back. Every time you wash your hands, now you're going to be like, don't forget to eat my healthy fats with your plants. So when I talk about salad dressings, people were for the longest time saying, you know, no fat, low fat. I don't want to eat any of the fat because there's all that crazy. And what I tell people is that don't apply when you don't have enough of the fats, your body is not able to use those nutrients well. And going back to the vitamin D, crucial for neurological health, you know, supporting your bone mineral density, being able to utilize calcium in an appropriate. I mean, everything that vitamin D does. And from a immune system standpoint with autoimmune conditions, is that when the vitamin D levels are even lower, you know, your body is even at a more compromised state. So even the latest research that you've been looking at, seeing those levels at more of like a 70 nanograms per deciliter rather than, you know, what most doctors recommend is at 30. So kind of looping back here to the vitamin D is, it's really important not only to get sun exposure, 20 minutes a day, not sunny out, be able to incorporate vitamin D rich foods like eggs, salmon, mushrooms, you know, those are some of the highlights, oysters, sardines, and then making sure you're eating it with a fat source. Absolutely. That's kind of what we were going to go off of too. It really do in addition to not just getting the adequate amount of vitamin D, but to do it with a fat source like you talked about. They go hand in hand, buddy buddies. Go hand in hand, and most people don't know that too, so right? So get your vitamin D levels checked first and foremost so that you know how much to take. With fat-soluble vitamins, they can build up in the tissues over long term. And if you're lean and we focus on somewhat body composition levels, you're not going to have to worry about that. But great information, that's huge. Hopefully people can take away something of value there. Yeah.